The galaxy had seen many strange things, but nothing seemed stranger than the small human ship drifting near the border of the Vorthan Alliance. It was old, slow, and carried no visible weapons. From a distance, it looked like a broken cargo hauler waiting for rescue. Alien commanders laughed when they saw it on their scanners. To them, it was a joke, another weak human vessel lost in deep space. But the ship did not respond to calls. It did not send distress signals. It simply floated, silent, alone, and waiting. Inside their grand meeting hall, the Vorthan diplomats prepared to send a delegation toward Earth. They believed humans were desperate for peace, eager to avoid conflict. Their intelligence reports showed Earth had only a few warships left, and most were outdated. The aliens felt confident, even arrogant. Their plan was simple: pressure Earth into surrender during negotiation. But something about that lone ship bothered a few of them. "Why is it here?" one diplomat asked. "It's bait," another said jokingly. They all laughed again. Yet the laughter slowly faded when new readings appeared. The small ship began transmitting a strange pulse, slow, rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. It echoed through space, reaching every Vorthan sensor. The pulse was so powerful that it interrupted nearby communication lines. Alien officers stared at their screens. "What is that?" "No human ship can generate a pulse like this." "It's impossible." Before anyone could respond, the lone ship shifted position, smoothly, silently. Its engines glowed with a deep blue energy no one recognized. The galaxy's laughter stopped. Then an officer shouted, "Something is coming out of hyperspace behind it." Alarms echoed across the command center as space began to distort. The diplomats froze. Whatever was arriving was enormous. The space behind a lone human ship cracked open like glass. A deep wave of blue light spread across the void as something massive pushed through hyperspace. Every alien screen dimmed for a moment, struggling to process the energy spike. The Vorthan officers leaned forward, their voices trembling. A shadow emerged first, bigger than anything they had ever seen. Then the real shape appeared. A Titan-class human warship. It stretched across their sensors like a moving continent of steel and power. Armor plates the size of buildings reflected cold starlight. Hundreds of blue thrusters burned along its spine, humming like a sleeping giant. Weapons bays glowed faintly as they charged, even though the ship had not fired a single shot. The Vorthans stared silently. That cannot be human-made," one whispered. "No species builds something that large," another muttered. But the Titan class continued to advance, slow and confident, like a predator approaching its prey. The small ship that everyone mocked moved beneath it, protected in the warship's enormous shadow. It was not a joke. It was bait, a signal, a warning. Inside the alien command hall, alarm screamed. Some diplomats stepped back on the display, fear spreading across their faces. Their intelligence reports were wrong, terribly wrong. Earth had not grown weaker. Earth had evolved. The Titan-class warship sent out a single message. One line: calm, cold, human. Negotiation begins now. The Vorthan diplomats felt their stomachs twist. This was not diplomacy. This was dominance. Then something even stranger happened. The Titan class opened its side hangars, and dozens of smaller vessels launched silently into formation. Each one moved with perfect precision, like they were part of one living machine. Humanity had not come to talk. Humanity had come to show strength. The Vorthan delegation gathered inside their circular council chamber, their eyes fixed on the enormous Titan-class warship floating on the main display. The room, once filled with confidence, now felt cold and silent. No one joked anymore. No one even breathed too loudly. A glowing blue corridor appeared between the Titan class and the Vorthan flagship, an open communication link. Humanity was calling. The diplomats glanced at one another nervously. Their plan had been simple: intimidate Earth into surrender. But now Earth stood above them with a warship powerful enough to erase fleets. The balance had changed completely. The hologram flickered to life. A human officer appeared, calm, straight-backed, eyes like steel. His uniform carried the emblem of Earth's Defense Command. Behind him, The Titan's interior glowed with blue energy veins, pulsing like a heartbeat. "Vorthan Alliance," the officer began, his voice steady. "You sent diplomats." "So, did we? But you will not speak to us with threats, pressure, or superiority ever again." The aliens felt the weight of every word. On their sensors, the Titan-class warship powered its shields. The energy signature alone shook nearby asteroids out of orbit. Some Vorthan officers reached for controls, but their hands trembled. "We came peacefully," the Vorthan lead diplomat tried to say. "Your display of force is a response," the human officer replied sharply, "to decades of disrespect." Silence filled the chamber. The officer continued, "Humanity seeks peace, but peace does not mean weakness. And negotiation does not mean surrender." Behind him, the Titan-class warship shifted slightly, its weapon ports glowing like waking eyes. The message was clear: negotiate fairly or suffer consequences. One alien finally whispered, Are you threatening us?" The human officer leaned forward. "No, this is a warning." The chamber froze. Humanity was done being underestimated. The Vorthan diplomats tried to regain their confidence, but the presence of the Titan-class warship hanging outside their viewports made every word feel heavy. Their plan had collapsed the moment that giant ship arrived. Now they were reacting, carefully, nervously. The human officer remained calm inside the hologram, hands behind his back, eyes focused like a commander who had already seen the outcome of this meeting. "State your terms," one alien finally said, forcing courage into his voice. "Our terms are simple," the human replied. "Respect humanity's borders. End all covert operations. Stop manipulating our colonies. And recognize Earth as an independent power." A ripple of shock went through the Vorthan Council. "You demand too much," their leader protested. "You cannot." The human officer raised a hand. Outside, the Titan-class warship moved again. Slowly, silently, but every alien felt it like a shift in gravity. Its side panels opened, revealing weapon arrays that glowed with rising blue light. Even idle, the ship radiated overwhelming strength. "This is not a demand," the human clarified. "This is balance." A deep hum vibrated through space as the warship charged its main core. Not as an attack, just a reminder. The energy signature alone caused Vorthan sensors to overload. "This ship can destroy a moon," whispered one alien officer, horrified. "And it is only one of many," the human officer said quietly. That sentence hit harder than any weapon. The Vorthans realized something terrible. If this was only one Titan-class warship, then Earth had risen far beyond their intelligence reports. The human officer leaned forward. "We want peace. But if your alliance continues to provoke us," his voice lowered, "humanity will answer." The silence was suffocating. Even without firing a shot, Earth had already won. While the Vorthan diplomats struggled to remain calm, their military commanders monitored the Titan-class warship with growing fear. Every scan, every reading, every energy pulse from the giant vessel made their screens glitch. It was beyond anything they had prepared for. But then something even more shocking happened. A second signal appeared, not from the Titan class, but from the tiny ship that had been drifting quietly before it. One alien officer zoomed in and gasped. "That small vessel, it's activating something." The lone human ship, once considered useless and broken, began to unfold its panels like a flower opening in slow motion. A dim blue core glowed underneath, pulsing in perfect rhythm with the Titan's main reactor. "That pattern," whispered another officer. "They are linked. They are synchronizing." The human officer in the hologram nodded slowly. "You wanted to know why this small ship was here," he said. "It's our newest technology. You saw it as weak, but in truth it is the key." The Vorthans watched in confusion. In simple words, the human continued, "It is a beacon." The tiny ship released a wave of energy that traveled across the Vorthan border. It passed through asteroid fields, nebula clouds, and sensor stations. The wave didn't attack. It mapped every alien installation, every hidden outpost, Every secret fleet position suddenly appeared on the Titan's displays. Humanity knew everything. The Vorthans froze in terror. "You scanned our entire territory with one small ship?" the alien leader whispered. The human officer nodded once. Humanity does not show all of its cards. Not until necessary. The Titan-class warship powered up even further, bright blue veins glowing across its hull like lightning trapped under metal. "Now," the officer said quietly, "decide how you want this negotiation to end." The Vorthan council chamber had never been so silent. Every diplomat, every officer, every advisor stared at the hologram of the human officer and the Titan-class warship glowing behind him like a rising metallic sun. The tiny beacon ships can still echo through their systems, reminding them how deeply humanity now understood their territory. It was no longer a negotiation. It was a choice. The human officer spoke softly, but his words felt heavier than any weapon. "Humanity does not seek war, but we will never kneel again. Decide now, peace or conflict." The Vorthan leader swallowed hard. For the first time in generations, he felt fear, not of destruction alone, but the power humanity had gained without anyone noticing. The Titan-class warship had not fired a single shot, and yet it had defeated them completely. "Humans," he said slowly, "we choose peace." The human officer nodded. "Then let this be the first honest agreement between our species." A document appeared in the hologram. Simple, clear, fair. No threats, no domination, just balance. The Vorthans signed it with shaking hands. Outside, the Titan-class warship dimmed its weapons, the blue glow fading into calm light. The tiny beacon ship folded its panels back and returned to its quiet form, drifting peacefully beside the giant vessel. As the human delegation prepared to close communication, the Vorthan leader asked one last question. "How long have you had such power?" The human officer allowed a small, knowing smile. "Long enough, but we only reveal it when the galaxy forgets who we are." The connection ended. The Titan-class warship turned slowly, engines igniting like a sunrise. With a deep hum, it jumped into hyperspace, disappearing in a burst of blue light. The galaxy learned a lesson that day. Humanity wants peace, but will never again be underestimated.